So you're thinking about life and you might be wondering to yourself, hey, what is the point of all this? What is the purpose of life? And then you might come across this idea that maybe there is no purpose to life. And if that's the case, it could be kind of depressing or nihilistic. So let's talk about what that means and why that's actually totally okay. I think many of us are brought up thinking that there has to be a reason for things. If we do something, there needs to be a reason behind why we did it. And this makes sense because we're goal-oriented people. We set goals and we work towards them. We try and achieve things. And so when we do those things, usually they're building towards some kind of future thing. But it's not just goals that we do. In fact, we do most things in life habitually without really giving much thought to it. And even still, we ask ourselves, well, why do I do X, Y, and Z? And we might come up with an answer. But what if we couldn't come up with an answer? What if we looked at everything we did and we asked ourselves why 5 times and we couldn't come up with a real concrete answer for why we're doing it? And in the same way, we might look at our lives and wonder, why are we living? What is the point of all this? And again, we might come up with some kind of answer. But what if we can't? So here's the deal. I believe that you can live a good and fulfilling life without having an answer to that question. Let me say it again. You can live a good and fulfilling life without having an answer to that question. There are 3 points that I want to make in this video. Point number 1, you don't need a cosmic imperative. Point number 2, the absence of an objective doesn't mean that life is meaningless. And point number 3, a lack of meaning doesn't mean that life isn't worth living. Let's start with point number 1. You don't need a cosmic imperative. It's pretty easy to get caught up with the idea that there must be some grand plan for us. There must be some objective out there that we're meant to achieve, or some kind of destiny that we're supposed to arrive at. And it's very human to want to feel like what we're doing is part of a bigger picture. But here's the thing, you don't need to. You don't need to find some grand objective in order to live a meaningful life. Instead of looking for an objective outside of ourselves, we can instead decide what is important to us and what we want to focus on. We can decide what we want to pursue and what we want to dedicate ourselves to. And in doing so, we bring meaning into our lives by consciously choosing what matters to us. Now, this is not to say that finding an objective won't add meaning to your life. Of course it will. If you find something that really inspires you, that gets you excited, then go for it. But don't feel like you need to find some cosmic imperative in order to give your life meaning. Let's move on to point number 2 now. The absence of an objective doesn't mean that life is meaningless. Here's the thing, even if there is no grand objective, no cosmic plan, that doesn't mean that life is meaningless. Meaning is something that we ascribe to things. It's something that we decide is important or valuable. Just because something doesn't have an objective or a purpose, it doesn't mean that it can't be meaningful. Take, for example, a rock. A rock doesn't have an objective or a purpose, but you could decide that it's meaningful to you, because maybe it reminds you of a special place or a special time. Maybe you found it on a vacation, or maybe it was a gift from someone that you love. In that case, the rock has become meaningful to you, even though it doesn't have an objective or a purpose. The same is true for life. Life itself doesn't have an objective or a purpose, but that doesn't mean that it's meaningless. We can find meaning in our relationships, our experiences, our hobbies, our work, or simply in the fact that we are alive and able to experience the world around us. If we take a step back and look at the universe as a whole, it's pretty clear that there is no inherent meaning or value in it. There is no cosmic plan. Things just happen, but that doesn't mean that our lives have to be meaningless. We can choose to find meaning in the things that we do, in the people that we love, and in the experiences that we have. We don't need to believe in a cosmic imperative. in order to live a meaningful life. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. All this talk of rocks and cosmic imperatives is all very well and good, but surely there comes a point where we all ask ourselves the question, is life worth living? And to that I say, of course it is. Which brings us to point number 3. A lack of meaning doesn't mean that life isn't worth living. This is perhaps the most important point of all. Even if we don't believe in a cosmic imperative, even if we can't find an objective or a purpose to our lives, that doesn't mean that life isn't worth living. In fact, I would argue that it's precisely because life is so precious and so fragile that we should cherish it, even if we don't understand it. When we're born, we enter this world not knowing anything about it. We don't know why we're here or what we're supposed to do. But we learn, and we grow, and we experience all that this world has to offer. We form relationships, and we make memories. And along the way, we find meaning and value in the things that we do and the people that we love. And yes, maybe sometimes we ask ourselves, why are we doing this? Or why are we here? But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't be here or that we shouldn't be doing these things. It just means that we're human. It means that we're thinking about our lives and trying to make sense of it all. But ultimately, that's part of what makes us human too. The fact that we can ponder our existence and try to find meaning in it, even if there is no objective or no cosmic plan, that's what makes us unique. That's what makes us special. So yes, you can believe in a cosmic imperative. If that gives your life meaning, then by all means believe in it. But you don't have to. You can find meaning in the things that you do, the people that you love, and the experiences that you have. You don't need to believe in a cosmic imperative in order to live a meaningful life. And even if you can't find an objective or a purpose to your life, that doesn't mean that it's not worth living. It just means that you're human. It means that you're thinking about your life and trying to make sense of it all. But ultimately, that's what makes us human. That's what makes us special. Life is precious and fragile, and it should be cherished. So go out there and live your life to the fullest. Be curious, be open, be loving, and be kind. And if you ever find yourself asking, why are we doing this or why are we here? Remember that you're not alone. We're all in this together, and ultimately that's what makes us special. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and sharing it with others. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this one. Thank you for watching.